You know those moments when you're trying to quickly grasp a new concept or maybe piece together information from different places? It can feel a bit like solving a puzzle.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, today we're diving into a specific kind of puzzle. It looks simple on the surface, but it actually holds layers of insights into language, logic, and how we process things. This deep dive is all about Duolingo Task 11, Complete the Sentences. You probably know it as fill in the blank. We found this amazing guide that breaks down how it works, but more importantly, what it's really testing underneath.
Right. And our mission today is basically to pull out the most important nuggets from this guide. Think of it as a shortcut, not just for this specific task, but for sharpening your general critical thinking and reading skills.
Exactly.
We want to show you how these seemingly small word choices, the ones you make in these blanks, can actually reveal big insights about meaning and context.
It's fascinating stuff, and we're pulling all this from one key source, excerpts from Duolingo Task 11, Complete the Sentences Guide. So get ready to unpack some really interesting ideas. Okay, let's get into it. So what exactly is this Duolingo Task 11? Can you break down the mechanics?
Sure. So imagine you see a paragraph on screen. It's got several sentences, and each sentence might have up to 5 blanks, 5 missing words.
Okay.
Then on the right side of the screen, there's a list of words. Your job is just to pick the right words from that list and fill in the blanks in the paragraph.
Seems straightforward enough. How many do you have to do?
Well, that's what's interesting. You might face up to 6 of these paragraph exercises, and you've got about maybe 7 or 8 minutes total for this task type. But the guide points out the algorithm, or the grading engine, decides when it's satisfied.
So it's not like you have to finish all 7. It's more about demonstrating your skill level.
Exactly. It's a dynamic assessment. And the way you actually do it is super simple. You just click your cursor on the word you want to choose.
Okay. Now, when I think fill in the blank, my first thought is usually vocabulary. Is that right? Or is there more to it?
That's what most people think, yeah. But this guide really stresses that you need much more than just vocab. Yes, vocabulary is part of it. But it also tests your ability to understand, paraphrase, and, crucially, how paragraphs are built. Topic sentences, supporting sentences, examples, details.
So it's testing reading comprehension on a deeper level, not just word recognition.
Precisely. It raises this important question. Why focus on these broader skills? And the answer is, it's not just about knowing a word. It's about understanding its role, its function within the sentence, and even within the whole paragraph, how ideas connect.
That makes sense. So given that complexity, what kind of strategies does the guide suggest? How do you tackle this effectively?
Okay, this is key. The guide offers some really crucial tips. First, and this is a big one, it advises reading the entire passage first, before you even try to fill a single blank.
Whole thing. Why?
So you can use the context, you get the topic, you activate your own background knowledge, what the guide calls schemata, and then you can make a much more educated guess for each blank.
Right, using the whole picture.
Yes. And it connects directly to just, better reading comprehension in general. The guide explicitly says, always read to the end of the clause or sentence. Never stop at the blank and choose.
Wow, in all caps, they mean it.
They really do. Because so many people make that mistake, right, that they stop too early.
Uh-huh.
This applies to any complex text you read, not just this test.
That's a fantastic point. What else? I noticed something about the order.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting, too. You can fill in the words in any order you want.
Really?
Yep. If the 4th blank in a sentence seems the most obvious one to you, go for it. Fill that one in first. The goal is simply to finish as many paragraphs as accurately as possible within the time limit. Efficiency matters.
Okay, fill in the easy ones first. Build momentum. And after you choose a word.
Always check for grammatical correctness. The guide specifically warns about decoys.
Decoys.
Yeah, words that might sort of sound okay at first glance, but they're actually the wrong form of the word grammatically. Maybe a noun where you need a verb or the wrong tense.
So it forces you to slow down and double-check the grammar, not just the meaning.
Exactly. It encourages that critical evaluation instead of just relying purely on a gut feeling.
Okay, this next part really caught my eye. The guide talks about parts of speech. Nouns, verbs, adjectives. How critical is that?
It can be really critical. Sometimes it's actually the easiest way to place a word.
How so?
Well, imagine a blank clearly needs an adjective. It's describing something, right? And you look at your list of choices, and only one of them is an adjective.
Boom, you've got your answer.
Pretty much. And knowing your basic sentence structure, Your syntax is
Yeah.
also crucial. Statements usually follow that subject plus verb plus
Mm.
object pattern. The guide gives the example, me go home, is not correct because the object pronoun, me, is used after the verb, not before it, as a subject. It's a simple example, but it shows how that fundamental grammar helps, even with tricky pronouns that sometimes trip people up.
So understanding the sentence's bones, the structure, is key. And linking back to the bigger picture, the guide also mentions recognizing the topic sentence. How does finding the main idea of the paragraph help fill in a specific blank?
It provides that overarching context we talked about earlier. If you know the main point the paragraph is trying to make, you have much better framework for deciding which specific word fits the flow and reinforces that main idea. It helps guide your choices to align with the paragraph's purpose.
It all seems to tie together the big picture and the small details.
Exactly.
The guide includes this fantastic example about a new type of cooling fabric. Researchers engineered this low-cost plastic material for clothing that actually cools the wearer. The idea is to reduce the need for air conditioning.
Yeah, that was published in Science magazine, a really interesting application.
Definitely. So let's walk through how the choices work in that example. The first blank describes the energy used by air conditioning. The options were energy consuming, energy engrossing, energy absorbing, energy devouring. How do you pick?
Okay, this is where we apply those principles. Energy engrossing. That means it grabs your attention, right? Doesn't fit.
Oh,
Energy devouring. That sounds like an opinion. It's personification. The context is scientific, neutral. So that's out.
okay, leaves consuming and absorbing. They seem similar.
They do, but the guide points to energy consuming as the best fit here because of collocation.
Collocation, what's that exactly?
It's about words that frequently appear together more often than other words with similar meanings. Like we say heavy rain, not usually strong rain or dense rain. Energy consuming is just a more standard, common pairing in this kind of context.
Ah, so it's about what sounds natural in common usage, not just strict synonyms.
Precisely. The guide suggests being well-read helps you spot these patterns. For blank 2, the choices were costumes, garments, outfits, attires to describe these new fabrics.
Right. How do we choose there?
Again, context. It's a scientific paper discussing new materials. Costumes, outfits, attires all have more specific meanings, right? Like for special occasions or specific looks. Garments is the most neutral, general term for items of clothing which fits the context best.
Makes sense. Keep it neutral. Okay, blank 3. The body needs to heat. Options were remove, discharge, dismiss, eject.
Okay, eject sounds pretty violent, like the body's throwing something out.
Not right.
Okay.
Dismisses heat. That doesn't make sense either. So it's between remove and discharge. Both seem plausible.
Yeah, I could see either working.
But discharge is often the preferred scientific term when talking about releasing heat or energy into the surroundings, like the atmosphere. Remove is a bit more general, could imply lifting something away. So discharge fits the scientific precision better. Got it. The more precise scientific term wins. Okay, last one. Perspiration needs to wets through the material. Options: evaporate, vaporize, volatilize, condense.
Right, well think about sweat. It's mostly water. Does water normally vaporize or volatilize like some chemical might at room temperature? Not really.
No, not usually. And condense would be the opposite, right? Water forming from gas, that would make you warmer.
Exactly. So evaporate is the natural fit. It aligns with the water cycle, how sweat cools us down. It's just common sense applied to the scientific context.
So looking at that example, it really drives home that this task is testing way more than just vocabulary lists.
Absolutely. The guide actually boils down success to two critical things. It calls them machinations or areas of inquiry.
Okay.
One, the precise meanings of the words themselves. Nuance matters.
Right.
And two, the context the words are used in, the surrounding sentences, the whole paragraph's topic.
Meaning and context.
Yeah,
The two pillars.
you got it. And it circles right back to that final piece of advice we mentioned earlier.
Let me guess. Read the whole passage first.
Bingo. Read through the entire passage before attempting to fill in the blanks. It just reinforces that holistic understanding is paramount. You need the whole picture.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening? This deep dive into what seems like a simple fill-in-the-blank exercise really shows that understanding language, understanding information, it's not just about memorizing facts or words.
Not at all. It's about active reading. It's about understanding context, spotting grammatical structures, appreciating those subtle differences in word choice, like collocation. It's about building that that mental scaffolding of meaning as you read.
Yeah, I like that. Scaffolding of meaning.
But maybe this raises an important question for you, the listener. How could consciously applying these ideas, really focusing on precise meaning, always seeking the full context, how could that change the way you approach any new information you encounter?
Hmm.
Think about it. A report for work, a news article that seems complicated, maybe even just trying to understand someone better in a conversation. How much more effectively could you process it all if you paused and asked, okay, what's the full context here? And what exactly does this word or phrase mean within this context?
That's a powerful thought. It's about shifting from passive reception to active engagement with meaning.
Exactly.
Well, our deep dives might be ending here, but hopefully your journey of discovery is just kicking off. Keep asking those questions, keep digging deeper, and keep exploring.